Assalamualaikum. We're going to do a review on some safinaz suits. These suits are already been reviewed, so I'm going to show you a sewn one and then what I've got left. And if anybody's interested in any of these suits, you can contact me and I shall dispatch them off to you. Now the suit that we've sewn is design number 18006. Now unfortunately I haven't. This is one that I have run out of stock for, but I'm going to show you some others that I do have in stock, and a replica of the same version I do have in chiffon. This one was a part cotton one. Now obviously the model here is wearing it as a short dress and with hipster type of trousers, and it's very well presented by a model. Now unfortunately the person that I've sewn for this is a very much a larger size, so we're not going to get the same result, but I'm going to show you what can be achieved with these suits. Now if you watched the earlier video to this, I did say that I was going to make two pants with this. This was the cotton fabric that came as the salwar and the lining, and what I've done is I've sewn a belt salwar. This is the belt salwar. Now with this type of cotton, it's actually good for winter and summer, so this is more of a winter suit now. Obviously only problem is when you've got lots of threads lying around, it catches quite easily. So I've sewn two things with this. I've sewn a salwar and I've sewn a trouser. This is like a straight cut trouser, and a comfortable type of trouser. Now for this particular customer, one very large size ladies tend to be reluctant on wearing trousers, and also if you're sort of accustomed to wearing salwars, then you might find it a little bit difficult to get into wearing a trouser. So this is sort of like a trial version, but because the fabric came with it, we could do two things with this, and I didn't want to waste it. So what I've done is I've done a trouser and a salwar. This was the chiffon dupatta, which is edged off, very pretty dupatta, beautiful chiffon and a very nice print. There is in-depth reviews on these suits that I had done prior to when they actually first came into stock. Okay, and the kameez, I've sewn this as a full kameez, which is like such. Now unfortunately when it's a short kameez and when it's a very fitted kameez, you can actually, the look comes out a lot of, but this is one of the reasons why designers tend to sew for models and so on, because obviously you can show off the piece a lot better. Now unfortunately mine is a very much a larger size, but then this is the actual reality. This is what majority of the customers will wear, not the flimsy model type of figures that are very rare. Okay, a point to mention about the suit itself, this particular one is on like a jersey type of crimpling type of fabric. This is on a net, and net is generally a little bit more difficult to sew. So if you're a first timer sewing something like this, one thing that I would suggest is perhaps these turnings and so on is to do them by hand, because it is, even with experienced machinist, you can have problems. I had a problem trying to get the even look on this. Now the other thing just to bear in mind is the turning. Try to add an extension to the bottom of this so that it's more weighty, because the front of the fabric is a beautiful done embroidery, where net, generally when embroidery is done on net, it actually crumples up or the fabric is pulled or whatever. With this particular suit we've had none of those problems, but then because the back is absolutely plain, there is a slight bit of a problem on just evening it out. So if you purchase this suit from anywhere else, and if you're attempting to sew it and if you have problems, then try and you know, do turnings like this by hand, because that will save you. I had to unpick and do them again. I think I've sort of like sussed it out and it's come out okay. Also, try and avoid cotton lining. Try and get this silky type of lining, which has like a lightweight like type of lining, which has an equal fall. Also, you may have experienced problems sewing this kind of material on many of the machines, because the machine does jump. I did have that problem as well. The stitching actually wasn't coming out right. The machine was jumping on the stitching. So what I did was I changed the needle to a ballpoint needle and stitched with that, which actually solved the problem to an extent. So that's the sewn version of the safinaz. The unstitched versions, as I mentioned, I have two types of these suits. This is the exact same. Okay, this is the exact same, but on a chiffon. And I think, to be honest, I like the cotton version, but then the chiffon actually has it's sewn. The rest of the suit is exactly same. The dupatta is exactly the same. The salwar fabric is not on cotton, it's on sort of like a, I'm not sure of the name for this fabric anyway, it's more of a synthetic type. And then the kameez, there is a slight bit of a variation to this compared to, now the embroidery, this is on a chiffon. The edge over here has been bordered off very nicely. It's been piped off. It's and then on the top here it has got this border. So if you were making like a shorter kameez, you can take this off. If you wanted, you could bring this, either you can take this border off or you can bring it up further without leaving the gap. There is a bit of a gap between the two fabrics, so if you wanted to take that away, you can do. The sleeves are slightly different. They have, I'll give you the comparisons. This one has more of a blue, and these have been, well, it's quite similar. There isn't really that much of a difference. Yeah, a slightly bigger border, but the borders go very nicely, and that's for the sleeves. And then the back of the kameez is a plain chiffon. So that's what we've got left. So the rest of the remainder of this suits is exactly the same. This particular one is design number 1004. And the cotton one that I've already stitched is design number 18006. So side by side, one is a closer up picture of the other, and there we are. So that's the one I've got left in stock. If anybody's interested, you can contact me via email and I will give you the full details. I mean, this is very nice. This is actually ideal for if you were to stitch this for like winter, whether you wanted to make a trouser or if you wanted to make a salwar kameez or anything, or you can go for the two-in-one choices. The next one we have is another one that is for the same customer, and I will be stitching this up but with a slight bit of variation. Now again, this one comes with, it comes with a patch which is yellow, and I've actually not understood where the yellow has actually come from. Well, the dupatta is yellow too, but I would prefer to have a white with this, and maybe, you know, the yellow I would leave it perhaps for a summer suit and use it with something else. Now this one is the cotton version. Okay, so very pretty, nice embroidery, but I would do away with the yellow, and I would actually like to make perhaps white salwar and a white dupatta to go with this, and that's actually per the request of the customer too. So I will take the yellow border off and I will leave that perhaps to make a summery cotton dress out of that. Now this particular dress comes with lining in the similar fabric, and then the dupatta doesn't actually have any green at all, and I really don't know how this combination was made. There you are, that's the dupatta. I don't know, maybe I'll go with making both and then she can wear it as she likes. I'd make her this, but I'd make her the white salwar with it as well, so she can have a combination. I don't know if but I do have one of these suits in stock, so if anybody's interested. It's actually stitched very nicely, and it looks quite appealing as it is on the picture. The other one of these suits that we have is design number 1006. This is all a chiffon range, so you would have seen these. I mean, I love the color combination of this. I'm not too keen on the print salwar. I prefer the plain as the salwar, and I would love to have just this as a suit, and maybe, you know, I don't know, maybe even use that as the lining, or maybe get additional lining. I don't know, does that look any? No, I would like to get a similar color lining. I love the dupatta, I just don't like the salwar, and I'll be honest with you, yeah, I don't really like the stripes. This is now you see, if I was to make that as a kameez to go with that, that would be better. I don't know. I don't know how these designers get away with it, to be honest. Some of the designs, they're so pathetic. But you know, that's not to say just the price of this fabric alone is worth the price of the suit. So even if I was to do away with that salwar, this, the embroidery, the way it's been combined is absolutely beautiful. The embroidery is just gorgeous. All I would need to do is get this color lining, and you know, the suit itself is just gorgeous, and it's worth it. I'm not too keen on the stripy thing, the stripy material, but then you know what, there's no need for it. You can just disregard that and maybe make it for one of the girls. But anyway, that's just another suit. I would like to make this actually. I love the colour on this. It's a beautiful colour. And I am not into my clothes at all at the moment, I'll be honest with you. I'm not into sewing at all at the moment. I have to really push myself to get back into it. Now this one, I actually quite like the fabric on this one. This is for the salwar. That's the dupatta, and then that's the kameez. But again, I actually love this. I would love to make this, and I would love to make a white salwar, a plain white salwar, because it's such a lovely color. It's a lovely color combination, you know, and it's something that would look gorgeous with a simple white or a black, even a black salwar would look nice. Yeah, the dupatta is gorgeous. I don't know, I'm not really into all these fancy lots of colour salwars, but that's dupatta and kameez, and I love my whites, so perhaps I would like to, perhaps if one was wearing it like this, you'd be able to carry it off, but majority of us, we are not models, so Well, if I could roll back the clock 20 years, or maybe 30 years, then we have now this one, I really don't think the picture does it justice. Again, it's on a chiffon, and the embroidery is very nice. The colour is very nice. But the stitching is a little bit lousy. It would need to be restitched and to make it, you know, like a jacket type of suit. Yeah, I think a jacket type of suit, it would look very nice. That would need experimenting. And then finally, in this particular selection, we have the very nice combination of maroon and white. Okay. Now this salwar, I would personally prefer it. I would prefer this salwar with, let's have a look. With this suit. I would prefer it with that. Take off the yellow, make this salwar, make this kameez, and it makes a beautiful combination. And make the maroon with this. At the same time, just go with that as well. That's the actual one with this. I'm complicating things. You're probably thinking, why is she complicating things? Well, that's the actual one with this. Okay. So either way, now the good thing with these, a few weeks back you saw me cutting into, fine cutting one of these suits that came without having the edges done. And I was explaining that now, luckily with these suits, even though they're a fraction of the price of the originals, these suits have had all this trimming done. And I met the girl that I did that for, and I was asking her how it turned out because I didn't stitch it, and she was saying it turned out so well. She goes, that edging actually did the job. So sometimes applying the effort, you know, the little bit effort into something like this does help out. Now these are the same ones but in the cotton, and these ones actually similar, but these have come with in cotton with all the pieces, and they're all exceptionally beautiful suits. This one, it has no, this is like just a print, and it has embroidery bits that get attached on. So it has a border for the bottom of the dress, and it has a border for the neckline that gets attached here, and this is all on cotton. Now this is something that I would actually, to be honest, in comparison to the chiffons, I would prefer to make these, because I don't know, once you've worn cotton, this type of cotton, you develop the feeling for it, and you know what, you no longer wish to wear the synthetic type of ones. So again, it's the similar type of salwar, but this is in cotton. Then we've got the exact same that I just earlier showed you for the silky one, but again this is in cotton, and all the pieces have been applied on, but this one, don't think I even opened this one. Very nicely done up cotton, embroidered cotton. So actually this one's really nice. Yeah, this is really nice. This is quite modern, a modern touch. If you wanted to make a salwar kameez, a shorter kameez and a trouser, then this would be ideal. I would leave it to the imagination of the maker. So that's just some of the safinaz replicas. The price of these is exceptionally good. If you want more details, I will be posting the pictures on my Facebook page, and you can email me and I will forward you the prices. But these are a fraction of the price of the originals, and I'll tell you, to look at these and the originals, there is a very little. I have sewn the originals, I have seen the originals firsthand, and there really isn't much of a difference. So if you're going to waste your money on the originals, then I would say buy wisely and invest in these, because you can get 3 suits for the price of 1, which I think on its own is a bargain. So that's just some of the reviews from the older range. I do have a few from a new range. I have kept down with the selling and the so on because of my recent move, but I have had arrival of some new ones which I'm going to be sharing with you. So join me again, inshallah, and I'll see you soon.